Hello, everybody. Great to be here. It's jessicaamaladawn back for your Divine Feminine Weekly for November 16th to 22nd. It's been quite the week. I feel like a lot of the things that I spoke about in the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine readings, and even the combined energy readings did come to pass energetically in a lot of ways. I know myself, I was really feeling the power of that sort of masculine energy coming through for me on my feminine nature, and or at least has been as of late. And I think that's been, like, in a way, very encouraging, because it can be a challenge to be in your feminine, in your yin, like so much and so intensively. um I did have to pause and do some like deeper healing work around that, but as well around some of my deeper maternal issues and some of things like to do with things from when I was in the womb that I picked up, that I realized was affecting how I was attracting partners. And I won't get too into that today, but I will do probably a separate video to talk about it in more detail, because it's really fascinating stuff. And I'd love to do this womb work with you guys one-on-one, because it's very, personal and intimate, to help you move through your blocks and realize why it is that you've been attracting, maybe not the partners that you actually want to be ideally attracting into your life, and understanding why that might be, and how you can fix that through doing this deeper, like, we'll just say, like, going back to the womb type of work. So yeah, so I feel like, my original impulse was like igniting uh, the fire, like, flipping the switch, like turning the fire on for this week. And I know that one of my cards that I pulled recently was Soul Flame Radha, which is rediscovering a lost part of yourself, experiencing relationship harmony and healing. So I think that's super encouraging and beautiful, that of like things potentially to come in terms of, improved relationships with ourselves or with a soul flame. So, I kind of just, like, I don't have too much that I want to say, except for that, like, very, very soon my website's going to be launched, and I'm going to have some free gifts on there, including a guided meditation, which will be helping you to uncover your truth and helping you to connect with the energies and wisdom of, we'll just say, not only ancient Lemuria, but all ancient wisdom. And it's going to be ready really, really soon. And there'll be like more details on there on my services as well. And I'm also going to have a guide that is a finger exercise that I call 10 Steps to Divine Queendom. And it's all about how you can work through these 10 steps in order to basically give yourself immaculate self-care every day, which will help you, and very positive affirmations as part of that self-care through the routine and through this signature technique that's going to help you really step into your divine feminine and into your divine inner queen. So I'm very, very excited. It's like right around the corner. And with that said, I'm going to burn a little bit of sage, because when I was in the bathroom to get my lighter to light the candle, Spirit told me to burn a little sage today. So let's do it. We're going to do it up. And probably good idea just to clear the cards a bit and clear out all those old energies, those pre-11/11 and pre-11/12 full moon energies. We're kind of in a very new space. And we're really, the 12/12, so December 12th is going to be a major cycle of healing and upgrading. That's really going to be a completion for many people, in terms of balance, in terms of upgrades, in terms of, going back and clearing out ancestral wounds and old, we'll just say distortions in DNA. Like we're so close to the end of a very major cycle. And then, 2020 is going to be all about bringing that forward and helping others who are maybe not as far along with this process to do a lot of their healing work. Because a lot of the collective is going to be going through an awakening process similar to what a lot of us here have already gone through or are going through right now. So yeah, with that said, it's great to have you all here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying hello. And let's get into the cards. So let's start with, for whatever reason, an Avalon card wants to come first to set the stage. So let's just pull that out. These are the Avalonian Oracle by Jhenah Telyndru. And they're really special cards. So, wow. So we've got shadow and sovereignty kind of setting the theme for the feminine for the week. So I think this really speaks a lot about what I was mentioning when I first got on the call about where I had to kind of look into some of my deeper shadow, and not in a bad way, like literally just like look at the emotions and the imprints that I picked up from my mother's emotions when I was in the womb, which is an inevitable process that we all do when we're gestating in our mother's wombs, even if we don't know our mothers later on in life, let's say if we were adopted or whatnot. And so in that case, that is the shadow. I think recognizing a lot of those unconscious things, those unconscious feelings that we picked up and memories that have been affecting us, like in the shadows, unaware, we haven't been able to see those things that have been affecting us, are going to start to come to light, and that's going to help us move into our sovereignty. So I think it's really, and like sovereignty on every level. So this has to do, like I said, with coming to that full circle, that completion process of really releasing ourselves from all of our old bondage, our old wounds, our old traumas, everything that was holding us back from being fully healed and being the full creator of our own lives. So I see it very much as a confirmation of what I brought forth as the overall energy for this week for the feminine. And let's pull some, I don't know why, the Mary Magdalene wants to come out first. So we've got another overall energy then with an oracle card, and then hopefully we'll get into some tarot. But I just follow what my guide says. So all right, so what else do we need to know about the overall energy? Let's call in the highest, wisest, most benevolent and loving guides, angels, ascended masters, the womb wisdom of everybody in the group. Oh, there's a card that flipped. Oh, it's the same card that came out last week. So we have a double message, the real you. So beautiful. So, I mean, very much I would say that just picks up on a double notion of sovereignty, because when you're free to be the real you, you're free to be really sovereign. And I really feel lately, I can say, for myself, like that I really sense, not just for myself, but I would say a small portion of the collective is also starting to really realize that to be putting up a false impression of who we are on, let's just say on social media, for instance, or to try and like sort of act like we're more, like we're either better or that our life is more flawless, or, like if you just act like me, you're going to like have a great life and you're going to make lots of money and you're not going to have to work really hard, kind of, or just any sort of airs. We'll just say any sort of airs. Yeah. I think are going to like let way. The underside of the deck is Gaia. Sorry, there's some glare there. There we go. I think it's really going to let way to like this deeper, authentic part of ourselves that really resonates with nature. The divine feminine is very deeply resonant with the trees, with the forest, with earth, and like being more open and honest about like that's something that we truly want, not just like being rich or being the most popular or having the most likes, is like a new conversation, but I feel like it's a conversation that's about to start to grow, and I think that's really beautiful. And as a leader of the divine feminine awakening movement, like it's my job, it's my duty to speak passionately and with great advocacy about that, because it's through our conscious awareness and through our words and our intention that we create the world. And so if I want to create a world where we find our sovereignty and the real us through Gaia, and that we're deeply connected with her, and that creates a more sustainable, loving, rewarding, fruitful relationship, then I think it's worth talking about more and more. All right, so let's get into the cards. We're going to pull some Akashic Tarot. So let's give these a good shuffle. So I think that since we already have a pretty good sense of the overall energy, I won't pull a tarot for that, but we'll jump into trying to get a little bit more details about like the beginning, middle, and end of the week and some advice. All right. And thanks again, everyone, for being here. It's great having a live audience. It's great to have this ritual every week to hold myself accountable to, reading the energies and growing, on a consistent basis by knowing kind of what spirit is guiding us towards as, awakening divine feminine and divine masculine beings. Okay, so for the beginning of the week, what's we need to know? And what else does the divine feminine need to know for the beginning of the week? And I'm just going to pull all. And what about the middle of the week? What does she need to know? And what does the feminine need to know for the middle of the week? And what else does she need to know for the end of the week? And what does she need to know for the end of the week? The end of the week. Okay. And what wants to go with this? Lemurian cards want to come. So we're going to pull one for each. Okay, that one's stuck, so it doesn't want to come. All right, so let's pull a Lemurian Starseed Oracle for the beginning of the week. And can I have a Lemurian Oracle in our highest good for the middle of the week? And can I have a Lemurian Oracle in our highest good for the feminine for the end of the week? Okay, beautiful. So we're starting with the Ascent in reverse with Adsum, and then Dove of Peace. And Dove of Peace also says, stay in the heart, all is well, be at peace. And there's like sounds of music, and the dove, of course, is a symbol of like receiving Christ consciousness, the divine feminine Christ consciousness as well. I think also like with the musical notes, I feel like it's like hearing the harmonic tones of the higher realms of the heavens. And that very much relates to this Adsum card, which is all about receiving messages from fairies, from angels, from ancestors, and being guided by what you're receiving. And I feel like that's sort of right now kind of taking precedence. There's been like more of an opening of the crown chakra that's happened. I think that actually came well, actually, I can't remember if that came up last week, but it has come up in a recent reading. And that's kind of taking precedence over some sort of previous achievement in an external way that would have been, we'll just say, in that like false masculine energy. And that could be with something to do with work. It could be an approach to like a relationship, or like trying to obtain a certain kind of a relationship with someone. Even like if like a certain way of approaching a twin flame relationship or a soul flame relationship, and like letting go of like that like climb that climb that is exhausting climb where you never kind of get to what it is that you're looking for or want. And just like, you know, really just stepping into the guidance and the peace and realizing that you are always guided. There's always beings around you who love you, who are speaking to you, who are wanting what's best for you. And in really fully coming absolutely conscious about that and knowing that, I think there is a huge sense of peace, and it does make it easier to stay in the heart because you do truly know that all is well. And that's a very 5D consciousness way of being in the world. And that's really coming forward, you know, post this 11/11 portal. So I think that's like beautiful. I love it. So in the middle of the week, what we've got here, scooch over so I'm not covering my face. We've got birth in reverse and iridescent moon in reverse. So yeah, like it feels very much like a time of gestating, very much so, before some sort of a birthing, before some sort of like major action. And the card that went with that from the Lemurian Oracle is healing. And we've got gentleness of love, realignment, transformation. So that does kind of bring me back to that Radha card, right? Because we've got here the two swans. It's like very much like a, you know, suggestive of like divine partnership or twin flames and transformation, right? So there could potentially be transformation in some relationship after this like full completion of the letting go process and coming, you know, into full healing around that. And then maybe then that actually sort of, you know, I think that is sort of the healing that's making way, that's gestating, that's making way for something new to be born. But that something new to be born will, you know, ultimately require a lot of work. It could be to do with a child that requires like a baby that requires a lot of work, but it could also have to do with like the birth of a new project. So yeah, I think that's really, really beautiful. I wish I had more detail. Maybe we'll go into more detail later, but these are just very general overall readings for the feminine energy. So we've got here for the end of the week, we've got Archangel Raphael, reverse, and 5 of Keys, wishes fulfilled. And that's combined with the Way of Pearls, which is liminal space, new energies, trust, and time of growth. So it's like there's a reemergence that's happening here at the end of, as a result of having the wishes fulfilled. But what I find interesting is that Archangel Raphael upright is a card of, when this card comes upright, and just to like point it out a little bit more clearly for you to see it, it's a card of like very auspicious blessings, often to do with family. And so it's really nice to see that combine with wishes fulfilled upright. But I also just feel like because it's reversed, it may not be exactly how you think it will come, that it might be a little bit different, in a little bit of a different trip package than you would have expected, and maybe not an absolutely traditional package of what you would think that would look like. So, and again, because we've also got on this card here, we've got new energies, right? Like we're rising with a new energy. And literally, like we are letting go of the old paradigm and bringing in like new technologies, new energy technologies that are coming from a combination of like the ancient wisdom, the Lemurian wisdom, as well as like Arcturian wisdom, Arcturian technology. And like we are actually, as part of our role, birthing that through us by releasing the old paradigm. And I think that like part of that wish is fulfilled is like coming into this new. So again, they all kind of are very, you know, there's not too many cards. So it does kind of leave things a little bit general. What I'd like to do is pull some Rider-Waite to just give a little bit more detail about each of these. And then we can move on to some advice. Sometimes, you know, having every single detail is not necessarily always the best thing. You know, my tarot teacher often did love to do a lot of really short readings and leave things a little bit open because it left a little bit more room for you to be the creator in your mind in terms of, you know, seeing things how you would want to see them. And I think that's like, you know, a beautiful thing. And like, yes, there's destiny, but there's also choice. We always have choice. We always have free will. And it's kind of about the balance and the combination of those things. So, all right. So let's get a card for the beginning of the week. One more for the beginning. And 2 cards for the middle of the week energies. Middle of the week energies. And can I get a card for the end of week energies? End of week energies. And our highest good. Yeah, so we've got, like, to add up to these, we've got the Page of Wands in reverse plus the Ace of Swords in reverse. So, like, what I'm hearing, the first thing I heard was dropping the swords. We're dropping the swords. So, which I think has to do with this sort of, like, Ascent card in reverse. And yeah, like I just feel like, yeah, there is a new thought, but it's not a new thought that's coming from the mind, from the ego. And it's not coming from, because I see the page as being like young, undeveloped, probably still more in the ego. And I think they're reversed because it's not coming from that place. It's just reinforcing that like what's coming through, I think, is really higher wisdom. It's not really of you. It's not of that more childlike voice. It's like really, really letting go of like I said, that whole old paradigm way of looking of you, of life as you as the creator of everything in your life, and realizing, you know, there's a bigger picture and that you are co-creating with higher beings and your higher self that have, in many cases, infinitely more love and wisdom than you could ever possibly have on your own, or this page could ever have on his own with his, you know, in his separation and his illusion of separation. That's how I see it. I know that's very mystical interpretation, but that's how I see it. So that's an amazing growth for whoever received that message this week. If you would like to fully receive that, you can say yes. And that just helps you to integrate it. So then for the middle of the week, what's interesting, so let me just, yeah, because these were upside down. So we've got the 3 of Swords combined with the 4 of Wands. And so it is kind of like a very interesting combination of energy. But the way I kind of see it is that, like, I think it's just trying to make it really clear that what is being, oh my gosh, I'm having card troubles. What's like actually being healed, like, is the heart healing. Like, is some past relationship stuff that still needs to be fully cleared out to make it more open to, I think, move into like that more like ideal partnership, to really move into a new commitment. This card, you know, often has to do with either like moving or some sort of wedding or celebration. And so, you know, I feel like, you know, these other cards don't really suggest moving, so it leads me to more to think that it has to do with like commitment, like marital commitment, because we've got the birth card. So some sort of more serious, you know, commitment. But that can't really happen until like this heart healing is like full and complete. So something about allowing the higher guidance to come in at the beginning of the week and to really feel strong and confident in that, and like really releasing all of the ego, and something about creating that more multidimensional relationship is creating that stability and that balance for this like deeper healing to happen, which is going to open things up so that what's kind of still gestating and stuck with these, like, moving forward with this new birth, new projects, potentially new families, can happen. So what we've got for the last end part of the week is, to add to the other cards, is we've got Queen of Cups in reverse, and we've got the Seven of Wands upright. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there could be potentially when I see these two cards together, Archangel Raphael reversed with the Seven of Wands upright, there might be some sort of like family, we'll just say confrontation or disagreement, where you kind of feel like you have to defend yourself or maintain the high ground. But I feel like if situation is properly handled from, you know, receiving your higher guidance and from your higher maturity, that it can all be worked through really well. But, you know, with the Queen of Cups reversed, I think it's just a warning that, like, you could be overly emotional in how you deal with whatever this situation is, even if it's like an internal thing where you're working this out internally in your head, around where you feel like you've been battling, and like it's time to kind of resolve that battle and let it go. Because again, like, that, if it is, that's all just kind of ego and like being overly stuck up in you know, stuck in drama. Like, I kind of see Queen of Cups reverse being someone who's overly attached to emotional dramas. So it just, again, with seeing like the combination with these cards of wishes fulfilled upright and Way of Pearls, my sense is that, like, just knowing this, you're going to overcome it, and like that it's going to lead to some sort of success and wishes fulfilled. And that, you know, this Way of Pearls rising, this is like beautiful goddess rising from the ocean, rising from like the land of Lemuria, is really that much more in line with this Queen of Cups upright. And so I see success at the end of the week with all of this. So whatever that issue might be, most likely though, it's something to do with family, but it could be soul family, like, especially, and you know, seeing with, it could be somebody that might even be like future family, like potential partners, seeing this in the middle of the week and seeing all of these energies of, like, you know, heartbreak and healing. And I could just see how that might bring up a lot of emotions in the middle of the week that need to get navigated without overwhelm and without becoming overly attached to the past, attached to drama, attached to things that are no longer, so that you know, you can really move into this new goddess energy and have your wishes fulfilled. So I mean, that's generally that. Let's pull some energy cards for some advice. Energy Oracle, because we love Energy Oracle. I know there's certain decks that I pull a lot from every week, and then some of my Oracle decks I kind of move around with, but that's just because that's kind of how I just find like I get a good read that way, like in terms of like the overall insights about what's going on. And the messages from Energy Oracle are always like really, they're just very clear. So that's always kind of nice to have. And a card just fell on the floor. Oh, that's great. It's a good thing it's an Oracle deck. So just so you know, I will do, right after this, I will do the Divine Masculine reading. And I don't know if I'm going to do a separate Divine Love reading this week. I will let you know tomorrow or Sunday if I am able to do that. I just have a very, very busy week, and with like getting some things done. So if I don't get to it, I apologize, but at least you'll get these too. So what's the advice for the feminine for this week? Yeah, what's the advice for the feminine for this week in her highest good? How to navigate all of this? What's the advice for the feminine this week? What's the advice for the feminine for this week? Yeah, so I just want to say before I move forward, because the underside of I just want to look at them together. The underside of the deck for Akashic Tarot was Winged Messengers in reverse, Two of Roses. And then the underside of the deck for Energy Oracle, sorry, is Deceit reverse. So if you take a look, like this, what this is really all about is like, there could be potentially a difficult conversation coming up, probably with like somebody like who is a divine counterpart who you haven't spoken to in a while. And like, or it could be somebody else. Like it could be somebody from like your another past relationship from a long time ago, even where like things haven't been fully healed and released, just because it'd be healthy to have a conversation around it. And like whatever like deceit there is or was around that, or things were never like fully honest or clear, like some sort of conversation is coming up just to like clear the air, even if it is like a decade later or whatnot. And like that's just the underlying energy, and that could be what's like causing that like turmoil. But you know, the advice here is to have the thinking woman in reverse, meaning like you need to get out of your head about it. And because a lot of that over emotion is actually coming from our mind, not really our heart, because when our heart center is truly open, it helps us to filter and process and balance out all of those energies. And so like it's our mind that kind of like remembers and gets triggered by something in the past, and then like it finds where that like imprint is somewhere else in our body or our womb, and then it's just like creates this like negative emotional loop, and it just keeps going and going. So when the heart's open, the heart like can actually filter and it out, even if it hurts sometimes to do that, because it can be uncomfortable depending on how negative the emotions are. But it if you're still enough, and if you allow for that painful emotion enough in the heart, it will pass through. So that is what I'm getting for that's like the main advice. That's the first card that came out. And the next card is Happy Family. So this is like really just like a reminder to you that like I said with that Archangel Raphael, in reverse, upright, that card is very, very much a blessing for having happy family coming your way. So just knowing that that is coming and possible, and a lot of that wishes fulfilled is around that family. And so it's just important to keep that higher perspective regardless of what is going on or whatever is coming up this week that might be destabilizing or hurtful, or just dredging up hurtful things that need to go away or clear. And then the next card we've got is third chakra Archangel Samuel. And this is they're now, for whatever reason, now they're calling me to numbers. So yeah, it adds up. 37 adds up to 10. So there's a completion. It was also 10-10 when I started this video. So just like the 10-10-10, there's a lot of completions going on. And I think that this is like about, you know, actually I'm going to pull up the next one too because they both came up. So we also got the sixth chakra Archangel Metatron also in reverse. So like the way I kind of see this is that I would just like allow yourself to flow into your power, you know, like the sixth chakra, it is definitely connected to that Adsum card, definitely connected to, you know, your clairaudience, your clairvoyance, allowing that to come online. And the Adsum actually came in the upright. So I just think it's like a reminder to just make sure that you do allow that to fully occur at the beginning of the week and through the whole week. Really, if you need to do any meditations where you focus on your pineal gland, you know, over the next few days, that might help you to be more open to the messages that are available to you that will help you have the most success this week. And with the power, you know, because the third chakra is all about coming into your power, I feel like this is like really about, you know, just like owning it, you know, like you have to own it. You have to know your worth. You have to know what you deserve in order to receive it, right? To have your wishes fulfilled, to receive it, and to really be the goddess. So, you know, I feel like very much, you know, you guys know me. Like I feel like this golden orb that he's holding is very much this pearlescent orb that she's holding in her hands as well. I feel like they're one and the same. And again, it's just a reminder, you know, of like that part of your wishes fulfilled is you fully coming into knowing what your worth is and to owning your power. So, but you have to do it. You have to put in a little bit of work, I think is the message there. So here we are at the end of this reading. This was beautiful. I loved it. I'm excited to come back and do a reading for the Divine Masculine. I'm sending you all lots of love, and I hope you have an amazing week. Namaste. Talk to you soon.